Let's talk Defenders.
Defenders, Ian. Way back in the BC, before CU podcast.
The BC.
Is that when they first announced all this stuff? Or no, they announced it about a year into that. They announced this really wacky plan on Netflix where you're going to have all these series of these B-lister superheroes in the Marvel Universe, really. Daredevil's like a B+. Daredevil, Luke Cage, Jessica Jones, and Iron Fist. You're going to have these series, and they're going to come together for a team-up series. That was always the plan from the start.
Yep.
And generally, all these Netflix series have been well-received. My favorites have been the Daredevil ones.
My favorites were Jessica Jones and Luke Cage.
Luke Cage, I thought the first half was very good, and I thought it kind of tailed off a bit. Jessica Jones, I thought was a chore to get through. I think it could have been 3 or 4 episodes shorter.
You are one of the only people I know who thinks that, but it was very depressing.
Get to the point. Oh, that too. It was like going through trauma watching the show too.
Well, the first time I talked to you about it, it had nothing to do with length. It had everything to do with the content of the series.
Well, sure, that too, but I said from the start also I thought it was too long, because you basically had one villain running roughshod through the second half of the series, and it was like, all right, it's like, can we throw something else in here? Like, I liked how they had the standalone stories for a few episodes. I was like, all right, with an overarching theme, but once he showed up, David Tennant was like, now it's just his show the whole time. Anyway, that was good. What was the other one? Iron Fist. You missed that. You were gone there.
I refused to watch Iron Fist after I heard. Look, Iron Fist.
You gotta give it a shot.
No, I will not. Iron Fist is one of my absolute favorite Marvel characters, and I'm not gonna watch him done horribly. And after watching the Defenders, I can come out with it right now. I thought Defenders was great. I thought 8 episodes was fantastic for it, except for the fact that Danny Rand is a fucking crying baby, and that's not how he's written. He's a piece of shit. He's the least interesting aspect of the show, and it makes me mad because he could be so much more.
You can watch. There is a teeny bit of complexity of him in the Iron Fist series.
No, I refuse to believe that.
Then
where did it go in Defenders?
They needed basically like, they made him the MacGuffin. They made Iron Fist the MacGuffin of the Defenders, whether you like it or not.
I feel like that's probably, but I feel like his personality was that way probably all the way through. They made him a MacGuffin, but him. He was probably the same character.
Well, I think part of the... I'm not saying this right or wrong. The reasoning was, when you see him in Iron Fist, he's sort of, fresh-faced. He hasn't had the power that long. He's just leaving Kunlun. And so it's sort of like, well, he's now sticking out on his own, and let's see what happens. And he comes back and he takes back the Rand Corporation, or tries to, and that's a part of the drama that season, is trying to wrest that away from the Rand father's partner's son and daughter, and that
sure.
There's some interesting stuff that happens. Like I said, I wouldn't pan it entirely. There's some good fight scenes. There's some good fights with the hand in there.
Okay.
There's some interesting dynamics, I'd say, between him and you would know if you're more familiar with the comics than me. There's a monk from Kunlun who's his friend that comes and tries to get him to come back. So they fight together, and there's a dynamic because then they go against each other. And then there's an awesome sword fighting scene in the rain between the character you saw, the girlfriend, I forget her name.
Yeah.
She used to be a part of the Hand.
Yep.
So there's an awesome fight scene between her and Kabuto, who was one of the 5 fingers of the Hand that you saw. So there are some good moments.
Okay.
Some moments. In terms of his martial arts prowess, got the job done.
Okay.
But what I'm going to say is all these, speaking of them, Daredevil, Iron Fist, all these foreigners taking their jobs. All of them are taking their jobs for our superheroes. I'm not sure why. Anyway, so Defenders, I thought was very shaky. I thought it was the best episode was probably them just sitting in the Chinese restaurant talking about shit, eating food, and getting attacked. That was probably the most interesting episode.
That was a really good episode.
Most interesting episode to me, because they learn about each other. Matt's like, all right, I don't know if I want to deal with this bullshit. I'm going to get away from this. And it's like, he's going to get together. But I do agree with you that Danny Rand is a little bitch in these series. He has a good heart, but he's just, like I said, he's whiny. He makes some dumb bullshit.
I'm going to talk like this the entire series.
Well, he's got to cover up his accent.
I'm going to laugh. Maybe once. when Luke Cage tries to make me laugh because Marvel's gonna pretend like a Luke Cage Iron Fist series would be any good. But with me as an actor, it's gonna be horrible.
I'm blaming the writing more than his acting. And not that he's the best actor for this, but the writing is not good for his character.
No, the writing is awful for his character. What really should have been Iron Fist has been written well a number of times, but in the early 2000s, Matt Fraction wrote an Iron Fist run, and Dave Asia did the art for it. And it is the template that basically all Danny Rand's should be written from. He takes things seriously when he needs to, but he quips, he jokes, he has fun. It's the Danny Rand that would fill the perfect slot in this lineup.
Okay.
He would play perfectly off of Luke Cage. He would play perfectly off of Jessica Jones. He would needle and get under the skin of Daredevil. It would be amazing. Yeah. And all we get is this boring... Jesus Christ, Pat, just mute your fucking computer.
I somehow came back to life and I was checking something going.
And all we get is this boring dude who talks in muted tones about ancients, and it's just fucking awful.
Yeah, there's just not a lot of life to him.
No, there's zero life to him.
Even Matt, who's a dark character overall, like, he has some funny moments and he can joke about stuff.
I fucked my hand and had a better reaction out of it.
Your hand didn't feel ashamed afterwards?
No, my hand was a lot more excited.
I think they're going to do it. I think they have to do a Luke Cage and Iron Fist series.
They do in Luke Cage.
But they are going to do a season 2 of Luke Cage. It's already confirmed.
No, I know, but I mean, they teased it in that one scene. You know,
they talk to each other.
Yeah, but they really need.
They got to rewrite his character. They got to.
No, they have to rewrite it 100%, and the only way they can do that is if they put it with Luke Cage and get Luke Cage to put a fire under his ass, because in the comics.
Get him to loosen up a bit.
Especially in the early days of like Luke Cage and Iron Fist and those characters being introduced, those two played off each other so well that that's what both actually propelled them into more serious roles that were both funny but serious. And I think if you're gonna salvage the Marvel TV universe's version of Iron Fist, you've got to do it through Michael Cole. You got or Mike.
Sure, you know what? I'm not thrilled with how he's written, but I do think he's a lot more interesting character than Iron Fist is in these.
Yeah, I love
absolutely.
Him. I think he could do.
He's boring too for me for a different reason.
Not to me, but I think he could. I think them as a team, I think he could carry him, and I think there's an arc they could work where he lightens up Danny.
Sure.
In New York.
Absolutely. Helping out Harlem or whatever. Yeah, sure.
Get him out of this Kunlun fucking mindset and brighten him.
Can we see the fucking Iron Fist costume? I mean, that's like one of the nice things about him is it's cool to see he's at the.
It is, but I mean, we only saw Luke Cage in costume once.
Sure, but that's Luke Cage.
I mean, the only person we've ever really seen in any costume is Daredevil.
Sure. I mean, why is it so silly to have a Daredevil costume, but not have an Iron Fist costume? When he already is a kung fu warrior. True. He's got the fucking tattoo. Yeah. So that's already silly. Give him the fucking green and yellow outfit. Give him the little cloth fucking bandana over his head with the eye. Like, just do it. Just give it to me.
Sure.
Come on, you have Spider-Man in this universe now. You can have Iron Fist.
But I did like the story, and I did like the it actually made me like the Elektra Black Sky character more. Sigourney
Weaver was great.
Sigourney Weaver was fucking
By the way,
fantastic.
This is all spoilers. It's been spoilers.
Sorry.
I was disappointed that they killed her halfway through the season.
No, they killed her in episode 6.
Out of 10 episodes, that's halfway
8.
through. There's only 8?
There was only 8 episodes.
Oh, okay. All right.
So she was out with only 2 episodes left to go, and the last 2 episodes were a rolling tumble.
I didn't want her to die because I don't think her story was fully told. I think it was. I still don't know where the fuck she came from, Why do they want to go back to where the fuck they want to go back to? That was really not explained. We want to go back to Kunlun. Why? If you got kicked out of it, why do you want to go back so badly? Like what's driving you to go back there?
Because it's either get more substance in the real world or go back to Kunlun to continue eternal life, or go back to Kunlun for eternal life.
Well, to me that wasn't explained enough about Kunlun giving you eternal life. The black goo, yes, that's eternal life, but going to Kunlun, that wasn't explained to me.
Okay, that was my understanding.
But I think that to me was unfarmed, that motivation for that character.
I'm sorry, the goo was in Kunlun. That was what it was.
Okay.
They were they needed to use the Iron Fist to get back to Kunlun so they could get the goo.
Well, that was what was sloppy to me.
Okay.
They have Iron Fist break down the barrier, literally. That to me was kind of weirdly. That was not.
That was odd.
Sesame, that was the MacGuffin. They break through. They got the dragon fucking huge skeleton in the ribs. They start cutting through it, I guess, to get the black goo.
Yes.
What is that? How does that get them to Kunlun from there?
I think that was the door into Kunlun.
See, it wasn't. It was like, it was just let's get. That's what they needed, another episode.
It's a comic book show, but
I know.
But I understand. So my thought was, and it was similar to yours.
I thought it was more interesting if they had Elektra get back her personality, but still had Sigourney Weaver. I thought that'd been a lot more interesting, at least to me.
I actually wanted to see her kill Sigourney Weaver, and I expected Sigourney Weaver to die off before the end of the show because it was Sigourney Weaver and she probably commanded a high price. At some point, dude, you look at these shows and you see these characters walk on stage and you go, they're not paying for a full season.
Then don't hire them. Then I think that was just the plot. Just because halfway through Luke Cage they kill off the main villain, and halfway through Luke Cage.
It's true. But also Sigourney Weaver was, I mean, there was cruelty towards Elektra that Elektra did not take kindly to because she was not completely wiped out.
I'm not saying the motivation wasn't there to kill her.
Okay.
I was just saying I would have preferred if they went a little more complex than the revenge thing. She's out of the picture.
I mean, Sigourney Weaver could be in anything, and I'd be happy. But
I love the lone wolf character of the Hand. Probably my favorite character of the whole thing. Don't like how he was just killed off just like that, but whatever.
Yeah.
Madame Gal, right? She can do Hadoukens and push stuff around. Like
I've always liked Madame Gal throughout the universe, though.
I have. This was too much for me. This was a little bit too much, like magic over the top.
Fair enough. I felt that way at certain points.
I understand that she has to be shown as powerful and keep people at bay. Throwing basically telekinesis at will, that was a little bit too much for me. I liked it in little spurts, not just constantly doing it.
Problematically, I think they should have introduced a little bit more of that throughout the series because that's what she can do. Sure. I think throwing it all in Defenders was a bad mistake.
I'll tell you what I didn't like, and this is where I didn't like it. Let's shoehorn in every fucking secondary and tertiary character from every series we've had so far, and just to fit them into the plot somehow. I couldn't stand that aspect of this, where let's get in the informant from Luke Cage for his one scene, so Luke can get the information. Why are you leaving with that? Remember the guy who went after and asked him about it? So you're not going to like me if I have to come back because I don't like you right now. That guy, getting him back in. But then they have to throw in Misty Knight. Yes, she's a cop. You have to put her.
Makes sense.
Yeah, makes sense. But then you got Night Nurse showing up, probably a little bit too much for me.
No, she's been huge in all of the episodes. They've been leading up to her being this huge.
Too much.
This is where we have to disagree.
You have I like seeing Foggy a little bit.
Foggy was fine.
A little bit. But then I'm sorry. I don't have to pigeonhole them in together and then get them all in the same location so they can all talk to each other. That to me was where it crossed sort of the line of let's just get them all in. And then I understand, again, spoilers, I understand you got to cut off Misty Knight's arm because they did it in the comics. That was pure pigeonholing. That was pure fan service. And it was so stupid how all the cops are sitting around not going into the fucking building. Oh, Misty sees the one door. They didn't decide to pop with a couple of rounds to get in. That was just like, you got to be fucking kidding me. By that point.
With her losing the arm, I knew it had to happen. But Vanya goes, here's where she loses her arm. No, and she didn't. And then 2 seconds later, she loses her arm. And I was like, if you're not going to have her lose her arm where Vanya calls it, like...
Don't do it out of nowhere?
Don't do it out of nowhere. Just wait, you know? Because they teased it in Luke Cage.
So I didn't even realize that. I'm trying to remember Luke Cage where they teased it.
They teased it in Luke Cage where they tourniquet her arm.
Oh, okay, that's right.
So, teased it a few times.
I have to rewatch it. I don't remember. I'm not retaining anything from Washies, I just realized.
I absolutely have to disagree with you on Night Nurse, though. Rosario Dawson.
I love Rosario Dawson.
She's been an integral part of every series, and she is the... Without her, there would not be a foundation for the Defenders.
She didn't bother me as much. You know who really bothered me? Was Jennifer Jones' talk show friend. That bothered me. That probably the most out of
Hellcat's going to be important.
I'm not even familiar with the terms there, but all I know is I didn't like it. I just didn't like it. I didn't like the...
Then you don't know the comics well enough to comment.
But I shouldn't have to enjoy these series. They have to be written well, stand on their own.
But she was in it less... She wasn't in it enough to distract you from the series.
I was distracted because she didn't... They could have removed her from the story and it wouldn't have lost anything. It wouldn't. It would not have lost anything.
It's potential introduction of characters later on that you would not want to just appear because then you'd complain that they just appeared out of nowhere.
No, I'm just saying you got to use all these secondary characters. You don't have to use them all. That's all. That's all.
Anyways.
Oh, by the way, I'm not entirely happy that David Tennant's going to be showing up again in season 2 of Jessica Jones, because I thought I saw enough of him. Unless it's flashbacks, I don't want another fucking whole season centered around that villain.
No, I don't think it's going to.
So, all right.
By the way, he was fantastic as Scrooge McDuck, and I don't think you fucking watched that yet.
Why do I have to watch that when you didn't review the new game for a year and a half, and I got to watch the series right away?
Because I knew I'd fucking hate it.
But you didn't.
The game? Yeah, I did.
No, the series.
No, I didn't hate the series. I thought the series, the first episode was fucking great.